Hey guys, it's Ariel. So today I'm going to be talking about a concert that is actually, it's a funny but kind of awful memory for me all at once. As you guys know, in January 2013, I almost said 2012, definitely not 2012, Adam from 3 Days Grace left. And they had just about a month before that announced a tour with P.O.D. and Shinedown, and I pretty much spazzed out over the idea because 3 Days Grace and Shinedown, well, Shinedown is still one of my favorite bands, and 3 Days Grace before Adam left was one of my favorite bands, and well, they were my favorite band, and we like freaked out and got tickets, and I was so excited because I was finally going to be seeing them up close and personal, because every other time I've seen them, I've been in the seats. This time, we got tickets for the floor, and I was damn determined I was going to get on the barricade, which I did. And I honestly was not impressed with 3 Days Grace, and made sure Matt knew it. I'm not entirely proud by it, but I am kind of amused by my reaction, because it's highly amusing, because I try to be pretty nice. I wasn't nice to Matt. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit. This was on March 11th, 2013, and I went with my mom, my friend Jeremy, and my friend Austin. This was Austin's first concert, and I also met up with my friends Mandy and Nick at this show. And well, I met up with Mandy before the show even started. We actually joined her on the barricade. Nick came later, and I'll explain that because it was kind of funny. Here's what was funny though. We get to the show, we got there early because, you know, you want to get in line early, and we could hear 3 Days Grace practicing, like setting up, like doing sound check and all that. I feel like I was trying to give Matt a chance before I got to the show, but then I heard him rehearsing, and I just was like, oh hell no. Like, I had my ear pressed to the door of the venue, and I could hear him doing, I think it was Just Like You, which is ironically a song that he messed up, by the way. Side note, before I start talking about all this, because I'm mainly going to probably talk about 3 Days Grace, because they really had me very heated at this show, but I just want to put like a disclaimer. I don't hate Matt as a person. I don't even hate him as a musician. I just really did not like him in 3 Days Grace. I thought he did not do any justice for 3 Days Grace. I thought, in fact, he was very disrespectful for 3 Days Grace in Adam's lyrics. And I am very biased because, as I've mentioned before, Adam is the whole reason I am who I am today. His lyrics are what made me fall in love with music. His live performance is what made me fall in love with concerts. And so yes, I did put Matt up to a very high standard. I am very biased. And in my darkest days, I think he's great. In 3 Days Grace, I think he sucks and needs to stop. And here's the thing. I was trying to be fair, but then I heard him singing, and I'm just like, no. I was just not okay with it. I tried to let it go after I heard him, one, in the recordings that they released when they announced he was going to be in Adam's place, and I tried to also put it out of my mind of the little rehearsal that I heard, but it didn't quite work. And then we go inside, get on the barricade, and P.O.D., something was wrong with their sound, and they also had like a whole stereo system like right in front of us, and it was like, you know how the floor shakes at a concert, and usually it's in a good way? This was in a bad, uncomfortable way, the kind where you're like picking up your feet and you're like kind of almost feeling sick from it. Like, they just had something really wrong with their bass. That's all I heard, that's all I felt. The best part of their performance was the lead singer's son, at least I think he was lead singer's son, came out at one point for the song, for their last song, and I thought that was so cute. I think he was drumming or something, like on a little banjo drum or something. Banjo. It's not the word. I don't know what word I was trying to say. I said bongo, that's what I was trying to say. But anyways, I was really not impressed with them at that show. They did so much better at Uproar. But then I was kind of like mentally preparing myself for 3 Days Grace, and then right as P.O.D was getting off stage, my friend Jeremy was looking at something like off to the side of the stage. He's like, "Hey, who's that?" And I'm like, "Who's who?" And I'm like, look over. I thought I was just looking. Apparently I was glaring. It was Matt. And I'm like, "That's Matt." And looked away. And Matt saw me apparently glaring. I did not realize I was glaring. In fact, somebody pointed out to me later, like after 3 Days Grace was set, they're like, "You know you glared at him before the show even started, right?" And I'm like, "No, I feel bad about that. Like, he didn't do anything then." And, anyways, they get on stage, and I give you, they looked badass. Like, normally 3 Days Grace doesn't have an image. They had an image with this, and he came out with, like, he looked like, honestly, he should have been a member of Black Veil Brides with the war paint he had on and the outfit, and he also had like a gas mask on, which I didn't really like it, but it looked kind of cool all at once. But I tried really hard for about half of Chalk Outline. He just pissed me off after that. Like, no, I wasn't pissed off. I listened. I was like, I don't know. It just couldn't hit me all of a sudden that the first time I was hearing that song live, which I really like, Chalk Outline, was Matt, not Adam. And it upset me. I started crying. Like, I'm not going to lie. This whole show broke my heart. It really did. It broke my heart and really pissed me off all at once. And I feel bad about that. And, then they did Just Like You. Like, I didn't really say anything during Chalk Outline. I just sort of stood there and cried, like looking at Matt the whole time, like, "You're not Adam, turn into Adam." I feel like that's what I wanted him to do. I wanted him to just magically turn into Adam. I really think that's what I wanted to do. And I know that's stupid, but you know how it is. You get a connection with a band, and then somebody tries to change that, and it just isn't okay. It's like they take a part of your soul, in a way. And to non-music fans, that probably doesn't make sense. But to anybody watching my channel, you probably are a big music fan, so you understand. But then they did Just Like You. And I was done. Like, I was done giving him even half a chance at this point, because he messed up the first little bit of that song. That song is the easiest fucking song they have. And, well, right, it might be a little bit easier, but still, he started with the second verse, not the first verse for the song. Like, he started singing the wrong part, and I just was like, "Oh, hell no!" I got so mad. And then Jeremy realized he even had a lyric book in front of him, and he still was messing up, and I was done. I'm like, "Oh my god, you fucking suck." Like, I was so mad. Put it this way. I'm just gonna put this out there and make it as short as I can. I said, "Get the fuck off the stage, you fucking suck, you fucker," several times during this show. I didn't really mean to. I did not mean to be so hateful, but he pissed me off a lot. To the point that at one point, my best friend took my cup away from me because he thought I was going to chuck it at him. And to be perfectly honest, had the security guard not been right in front of me, like literally right in front of me, I probably would have. Just because I was so mad at one point. Like, I had the cup in my hand, and I don't have a cup. I was like doing this, like trying to crush it in my hand because I was like so mad. He took it from me, and he's like, "No." And I'm like, "I'm sorry, no, this is not acceptable." And I was really mad on, let's see, on The Good Life, because I had heard that he had been promoting drugs with that one. And that song is not about that. It's about living a good life. He said, I still remember, he, like, all, like, cocky and shit, was like, "You know what I think is a good life? You know, having some drugs and alcohol and just hanging out with your friends." And, or something like that. Something about drugs and alcohol and friendship. And I'm like, "Oh, hell no." And I'm like, I actually remember saying, "That's not what the song is about, you fucker." Like, I remember saying that, and I know he heard me on and off during that set. I don't know if he heard that one, but he heard me quite a bit, and I do feel bad about that. So if Matt Walst ever actually sees this video by some odd chance, I apologize. I would have probably been mad at anybody. Like, anybody except Adam, I probably would have been mad at. Because I just put everyone up to a high standard. And if they don't live up to it, they usually are going... I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with that. I'm sorry. But I really got pissed off with The Good Life because I'm like, oh hell no, that's not what it's about. But I got even more pissed off when they did Just Like You. Not Just Like You. Never Too Late. Sorry. Mixing up songs. Because he did this. Like the finger thing, you know? The gun to your head thing. And I was so... No. I was so mad. Like, I don't even remember what I said during that, but I said so much just because I was like, that song is not even fun. No, that song is about anti-suicide stuff. It's not, oh, put gun up to your head. No, you're promoting the opposite of what the song is about, you fucker. I was so mad. I'm getting mad even thinking about it. And I know, here's how I know that Matt heard me more than once. At one point, I don't remember at what point, he climbed off the stage and debated. I saw him, like, he got off in the middle of the stage, and I saw him look over our direction, like, should I go over there? And then he, like, walked the opposite direction. I'm like, good, you fucker, don't come over here. I don't want you over here. I didn't mean to. I really didn't. But my best friend started laughing his ass off when I said that. Because I guess it was funny hearing me so hateful, because I'm not a hateful person, ever. Like, at all. I try not to be hateful. And I was being so mean. And I do kind of feel bad about it, but at the same time, there's a difference between just not doing something justice and being an asshole. And I feel like he was being an asshole that night. And what made me even more mad was people actually thought that was Adam. Like, I heard several people think that it was Adam, and I actually almost went off on a couple people, because I'm like, no, they're totally fucking different people. Like, oh. Like, it was bad. And honestly, there was only one song that I didn't really act really mean towards him on, and that was The High Road. I was so upset hearing that. Because that song is about Adam's departure from the band. I love that song. That's my favorite song on the album, actually. And it broke my heart. Like, it actually ripped my heart out, I think, hearing that performed live. It really did. I heard the first note, and I had been, like, looking down at my phone or something when they started it, and I heard the first note, and I'm like, I looked up, and I'm like, you can't do this, not this song, no, you can't do this song. And he started singing, and I'm thinking about how I was reacting, like, getting a little emotional now, because I remember reacting to it. And I'm like, you can't, no, not this song. And I started crying, like, as soon as he started singing. Like, I was so upset that my best friend wrapped his arm around me. I was crying so hard, I was shaking. And I was, like, just hiding my face in his chest. I was so upset. I looked over at the stage once, and all I said was, I miss Adam. That's all I said. And you know you're pitiful when someone just goes aw and hugs you tighter. And then, like, my other two friends, Austin and Mandy, both decided to, like, hug me too right at the same time as I did that. And I was just like, I don't know, it just really broke my heart hearing it, I guess. And yeah, I was glad when that show ended. And honestly, the best part of that whole set was the end of the set. They brought out somebody else. I thought it was the lead singer of Limp Bizkit, but I don't think it was. I say that because they started doing break stuff, and that I honestly say was the best one, because it wasn't a 3 Days Grace song that Matt could fuck up. And Matt wasn't the one singing, it was the other guy. And I was, like, honestly, the only song I actually sang along with was Riot, because I was so damn fucking pissed off at that point. And that's, like, my go-to song for when I'm pissed off. So that was it. And then the funniest thing ever is right after the set ended, I was, like, trying to calm myself down. And I was still pretty worked up. Like, I was still mad. And just, my friend Nick showed up then. And Mom had brought him up to the barricade. And I don't remember what he said. He made some short comment and I hate when people make comments about my height as it is, and he knows this. And ironically, I met him at a 3 Days Grace show, at that venue, by the way. It was so funny because I tell people to fuck off all the time, but I say it like jokingly. And I told him that, and I'm like, fuck off. And I was like, I said it more hatefully than that. I said it like really, really bad. And he like sort of gave me a look like, whoa. And I'm like, and Mandy put a hand on my shoulder. She's like, calm down. It's okay. He's not mad. Don't be mad. And she like turns to Nick, and she's like, you have to excuse her. 3 Days Grace's performance was a little hard on her. And he was like, oh. And I'm like, sorry. I'm like, don't mess with me right now. And honestly, Shinedown made everything fucking better. They did. As soon as they got on stage, I felt so much better. And I did not shut up during their whole set. I was like screaming the whole lyrics to every song and was enjoying it. And they're all so much fun to watch. Like, you know how a lot of the time it's like the only member that's really watched is the lead singer? With Shinedown, every single member is really fun to watch. I couldn't really see the drummer very well from where I was, but I was mainly watching Zach. He was just fun. He just was like, it was kind of adorable in a way, because he looked kind of like a little kid just in their own mind frame as he was like playing the guitar and singing along, and it was fun. I really enjoyed it, and I love that I got to see them up close, and I got some amazing pictures. I could have been actually in front of the barricade, because I could have shared a press pass with Lisa, the owner of the magazine I write for, but I decided not to ask to meet up with her for 3 Days Grace. And I saw her taking pictures for 3 Days Grace, and I tried to get her attention so I could get to Shinedown, but it was so packed at that point, I figured, oh, I'm never going to get back to this spot, I'm not doing it. And I got some really good pictures regardless, so that was cool. Oh, and the first thing I've ever had published in that magazine actually was of that show. I admit I did kind of lie in the article and say that Matt was good, but I did also explain that I cannot tell you if he was good or not in the high road. So, no, I lied and said he was good on the high road. I don't remember. I said quite a bit of things that were lies in there just because Lisa didn't want me doing bad press, and I'm like, I'd rather tell the truth, which is what I'm doing now. But it's so cool because 3 Days Grace, it's an end of an era, I guess, but hey, whatever. Yeah, so 3 Days Grace no longer has my support, really. I really didn't like that performance. I really didn't like their attitudes towards the breakup and then how they treated Adam afterwards. I didn't. And by the way, I once again apologize for everything I said about Matt. I know it's not him, really. It's just I'm biased, I guess. I don't know what else to say about that. But anyways, Shinedown, fucking amazing. I would go see them again and again and again. Like, seriously. I don't care if I want to see them 100 times, I will do it again. Because they're amazing every single time. And, I don't have anything else to say now. The next story, actually, is probably going to be a pretty quick one. And then the one after that is actually Spring Fever Tour. And then I will be caught up, actually, on shows. So you actually only have one video left. I said 3 in the last one, but I'm not counting the not Bury the Hatchet tour. I'm not counting the Of Mice and Men show, because that's going to be like all right when it happens kind of deal. So hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully you enjoy the video that's coming up next, and I will talk to you guys later.